Well, hello everyone. This is day 3 of 21 days. The belief in lack creates suffering. The belief in lack creates suffering. I hope it's starting to sink in how the belief in lack, defining it like that, creates suffering. So just going to do a summary. When someone comes online, if they can just confirm the sound, that would be great. A thumbs up would be nice. So the first 2 days we've been exploring. Hi, if you can just confirm the sound, that would be nice. Thank you, Laurie. The first 2 days we've explored the fundamental first principle from where we're starting, because as I said yesterday, without it, we're not going to make any sense of the whole unfolding of this clarity. Thank you, love. So who we are, and this, you just got to trust me on this until you see the bigger picture, okay? Who you are is ultimately the one complete. You are already that which you seek. You are already abundant. You are already unconditional love. You are worthiness itself. You are all of it. Otherwise, you wouldn't know when you're just drifting off into the woods, all right? You need to have a point of reference, something to measure. How are you feeling this lack? Okay, so this is your point of reference. This is your ultimate frequency. This is the ultimate frequency. When you're vibrating one as who you really are in this 3D time-space reality, when you are focused and your beliefs are in alignment with who you really are, you're spinning. You're vibrating high. Okay, your perspective is from a broader point of view. You're excited, you're enthusiastic, you're feeling the love. It's easy to forgive, it's easy to affirm, it's easy to be compassionate. It comes with utter effortlessness. From there, you're vibing high, okay? So I put out a note before I went live, if you could have a pen and a notebook handy with you, because what I'd like to do is just to go through the emotional scale. And as we are speaking about it, you can just put it in. So in the one column, just write out from 1 to 22 for now. And then next to it, we'll start filling it in as we go along today. So just write out 1 to 22 on the column, and then we'll move with that. So what are we looking at today? Misconception number 3. How do I change my mind so I can change the way I feel? Because this is the assumption that we're going to get to after what we said yesterday. You know, you define it, you can see it, now you're feeling it, and this is your experience for you. So the assumption that the mind is going to say, okay, I got a fix on this. I can do this. We just change the mind, because that's the assumption you're going to come to. I'm going to change my mind so I can change the way I feel. I wonder how many people actually came to that conclusion. Because honestly, that's the conclusion that I came to. I said, well, you know, when I first sort of figured this out, I'm like, okay, I'm going to change the mind. And all of a sudden, people are talking about the ego. We got to kill the ego, you know, just like this thing. So what the ego, the sense of the ego is when you actually believe you are the character the mind is describing. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, is what tools do we have that's creating all of it? You see, this was my aha moment. And what an aha moment really is that when you see something that you didn't see before, that means I'm at a higher vibration than I was before, because it's just given me a sign of relief. It's given me a sign of excitement. So what I normally do, what I really do every single time I have an aha moment, I jot it down. I have what I call an awareness tracking sheet. It's an Excel that I've done. And I write down that aha moment. And what it does for me is, like, when I see it again, it sort of roots me, it anchors me in, it kind of reminds me what it felt like being there for a split second. Because if you don't write it down, it's sort of, it gets lost in the interpretation afterwards because you're no longer at that vibration. You've fallen backwards. You know, you're there for a moment. You've had the aha moment. You've got, oh my God, I'm seeing things from a different perspective. And normally when I get aha moments is just before I fall asleep for some reason. So for a long period of time, I had a notebook and a pen right next to me because I'd always say, oh, I'll write it down in the morning. I wake up in the morning and God forbid, I had an aha moment yesterday and it's gone, like, oh, well, you know, I'll see it once again. But every single time. So now I literally always have a pen and paper, or I write it on my phone on notes, because every single aha moment is an anchor. I was there. I saw it. I remember. I saw it. And then, so it's a matter of practicing moving vibrationally. And that's become my priority. My priority is how I feel in every now and moment. Why? How I feel in every now and moment? Because now I've seen and I've proven to myself, I've proven to myself that the way I feel is a representation, an indication of how I'm vibrating. And where I'm vibrating, I'm having access, I have access to the thoughts that represent this vibration. I'm having imagery that represents this vibration. And my actions will be in alignment, will be a representation of this vibration. Stay with me. When I started doing consulting one-on-one with people, I always used to ask, the first question is, what is the feeling that you're feeling that you don't enjoy feeling? Like, what is it that you're trying to get away from? Like, what is this emotion that you're currently in that's disturbing you? And they'll say the word. So what you can write in number 22 is the worst one of all is disempowerment. Like, that's way at the bottom. That's when you feel completely separated. You run off into the woods, disempowered, fearful, unworthy. Like, you've hit rock bottom. Okay, that is like the channel where the sad songs are there, the depressing songs are there. All right, so it's a very, very slow and heavy vibration, hardly moving. Okay, so that's number 22. You can write it in. Obviously, number 1 is your point of reference: love, joy, worthiness, appreciation. Okay, empowerment. That's your number 1 and number 2. So you've covered that. Let's just look at the extreme. And the next question I ask is, well, what is the emotion you've been desiring to feel? And all the time, it is the contrast. I feel disempowered, I want to feel empowered. I don't feel confident, I want to feel confident. I feel lack, I want to feel abundant. I don't feel love, I want to feel loved. Okay? Every single time. Every single time. I know now we're getting to a point where things are going to start overlapping, but I really just want to move slowly so people can really get the sense of where I'm moving with this. Okay? Ultimately, the way you're vibrating, so with that vibration, what comes through that vibration? Thoughts, the way you define, the way you imagine, the imagery, the visual, the vision. So you define it and you see it and then you feel it. So now you've got a vibration going. Now that you stay here a bit longer, now what access do you have here? When I used to speak to people that were way at the bottom of the emotional scale in disempowerment, they all said the same thing. All the same, it's the verbalization is all the same. It's like they have access only to 3 pages of the script. They don't have access to any other verbalization. Is my life is shit. I'm no good. This is not working out. It's like they all say the same thing. They all see the same thing in their mind because they're all at the same floor. They're all at the same vibration. And guess what their action is? It's procrastination, because why would I do anything? I'm not going to be any good at it. I'm not going to get anything out of it. Who's going to give me anything? procrastination. So if you see that the definition and the imagery and the way you're feeling, the action is going to be the same. So you're basically at a frequency. You can't expect to be saying anything different because that is all you have access to. So you say, okay, Raf, now I've stumbled across this frequency. How do I move? Well, when you imply that you are the mind that is seeing and saying this, and that activated this frequency, all happening at the same time, and your action is also in that. When you're implying you are this character, there's no changing it. It's not defined to change. That will be the character you will play out every single time that frequency is felt. And even when you're not feeling it, it still exists, available for you. Now, this is at the utter disempowerment. Now, you go up the emotional scale, what are you going to move? You're going to move into anger, blame, revenge, pessimism, hope, doubt before hope, optimism. You're going to move up, okay? You're getting my drift. But every single time we start to move up, anger is always along the way. So this is also something I'm going to kind of overlap now. But when I see an angry person now, what do I see? I see someone trying very hard to feel better. And his anger might be directed at me. He might call me an old fart and an ugly fat little woman, or whatever he wants to call me. I do have fat cheeks. My partner thinks I'm just adorable. The fact is, an angry person is trying to feel better, and that's where he's vibrating now. And now he has access only to thoughts that are equivalent to that vibration. We've called it anger, but that is the frequency. I wish I knew the exact frequency like engineers do when you're measuring consciousness. You're measuring how you're vibrating. So let's just give it a number, okay? So on the emotional scale, number 22 was fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. You get up to anger, that's number 17, by the way. So let's put it at number 17. Anger is there. You're vibrating anger. Now you have access to thoughts and definitions and actions of that equivalent. They're going to look like, that's what they're going to look like. They're going to sound, they're going to, that is what it looks like. You're just temporarily feeling that vibration. So how does this movement happen? Intention. I'll give you an example. My partner flies a drone, and we were in the UK, in Cornwall, and it was this beautiful blue sky. There was nothing in the sky, absolutely, utterly clear. No clouds, no birds, no nothing. And her drone is red, and you'd think, you can see a red drone in the midst of a nice clear blue sky. Not. So as she's flying her drone and she's looking at the screen, she says to me, keep an eye on it, please. And as I look up, for the love of me, I can't see it. And I see pretty well at distance. But I was tuned on the frequency, I can't see it. I've defined, I cannot see it. In my mind, I cannot see it. There's an equivalent vision. I cannot see it. And I'm feeling the equivalent vibration. It might not be evident to you, but when you're tuned in, you start to get the feel of it. I can't feel it. It's absent. It's lacking. It's missing. The drone is not there. My action, where is it? Searching, searching, searching. You see? Definition, imagery, feeling, action, all having an experience. I temporarily had an experience for about 3-4 seconds of the event, the drone is missing. Then I said there was the intention. I want to see the drone. Where is it? So now the definition has changed. The first time the definition was, I don't see the drone. I can't see it. It's missing. Definition. From that came a desire. I now, if you're in tune with it, what is the desire? The desire is, I can't see it. I don't have it. I want to see it. I want to have it. Desire. Now I follow that wave. When the desire comes, you catch that wave. You go with it. You have the ability to desire. It's an automatic response. The desire came with it. So I defined it. You can literally feel the desire, or go with the desire. I want to see the drone. Now the intention of the imagery in my mind, I now visualize it. I know it's red. I know its dimensions. I know it's cute. And I'm feeling the presence of the drone. And all of a sudden, I can see it. I've been staring at it all the time, but I was unaware of seeing it. It's always been there, up in the sky, waiting for my heads up so she can fly the drone. It's not that it wasn't there. It was there, but my definition in the imagery. And when you see this slow motion, you can now apply it to everything. But if I carried on saying, I can't see it, I can't see it, and then the frustration that I cannot see it, I wasn't listening to my desire. There's always a desire, and 99% of the time, you stay rooted and argue for the limitation, but the limitation will always gift you with the desire. The limitation will always gift you the desire. Are you aware of it? Awareness. You're always aware. Your awareness always knows the experience. And you might say, well, I'm unaware. Yes, you're aware of knowing you're unaware. The beauty is being aware of knowing you are aware of awareness. But don't worry, it'll catch on. It'll catch on. I mean, I didn't just stumble across this. I mean, I've been investigating, exploring, and it's been fun. You make it fun. Before, I made it like I'm on a search. I'm going to master this. I'm going to figure this out. There was a lot of mind doing that. But now I've come to peace that these are my tools. This is what I've got to work with. And everything that I had accumulated in my life from the past was useless. All the material things, useless. What can I work with? What do I got? Focus. I can focus. What am I focusing? Consciousness, light. That number one, love. Wherever I place my focus, the mind turns. It's not the same mind. The mind turns and says, I want to see the drone. Intention. So I have focus. I have imagery. I have imagination. I have the ability to imagine. I have the ability to imagine. Everyone does. You have. Everyone has the ability to focus, the ability to imagine. Definition. Everyone can define. And every time you stumble across a contrast, meaning a lack emotion, there's the wave of desire. Everyone has the ability to desire. We're getting focus, imagery, desire. Okay? Now the mind has access to your imagery and to the definition. That is what you're using it for. Okay? And then you've got indication, you've got instantaneous feedback, the vibration. This is where you currently are. You're at now step number 22. Don't like it there? What are you currently living? What is the wave of desire? You're going to surf it? You're going to take it? Or we're going to argue for the limitation that you found at number 22. What's number 21? Number 21, insecurity, guilt, unworthiness. Don't like it there either? Okay. Number 20, jealousy. Don't like it there either? Number 19, hatred, rage. Number 18, revenge. Number 17, anger. Number 16, discouragement. Number 15, blame. Number 14, worry. So we kind of hit all the rock bottoms one. All right. If you don't have this, I'd like you to write it down. By the end of this video, we will have it all written down, but you can download it in the group, Kusila Consulting Group. I have a file there. But what I'm getting to is that every emotion we have given a name to vibrates at a different frequency. And how you're getting that indication? By where you're focused. Consciousness focused, light is focused. And to the degree that you're allowing that to flow to you, you will vibrate. And then you will live out a contrast. And then you'll get a wave of desire. And if you're surfing that wave, your focus will turn. Your focus will turn and it will flow. But what we normally do, we hold to our guns and we identify the situation at the moment. I am in despair. Let me describe you what despair looks like. Let me get on the phone. Let me social chat with someone. And the more you beat the drum of where you are, the mind can only describe and define and label and visualize to the degree of how you're vibrating. So you're going to get more words like, this is useless. You're going to hear more words and definitions and imagery. I can't do this. You're going to hear it. I am never going to get out of here. You're going to hear it because that is the only script that you will hear at that point in time, in that point of frequency. You're not going to hear anything more charming. You will not have the ability to believe anything different to that pool of energy, that pool of frequency. You won't be able to believe anything because now you're having the experience of that frequency. That is what you're meant to experience. Despair, disempowerment, that's what it looks like, that's what it feels like, and that's how we define it. And the mind will come up with more and more of that verbalization. Why? To create momentum for that vibration to be replicated again. That is the experience of despair. Why argue with it? Despair exists. Let it be. You don't want to stay there anymore? Take the wave of the desire. What don't I like about it? What do I prefer? You'll feel the desire come up. You're all feeling it. You don't know how to surf? The desire comes up. And I've honestly, every single time my mind says, you can't help anyone. Fine. So that's where I am. I'm in the no help zone. I can't help anyone. I can't even help myself. I remember those days. I can't help myself. And then when I felt this desire, but I want to help myself, all of a sudden the attention turned. What turned? The attention. My focus turned. And I looked at what I wanted, the desire. The contrast has served its purpose. I'm getting way too ahead of myself because this is something I really want to talk about next week. But this is what I want to really amplify is that the tools that we have available is that everyone has the ability to focus. Everyone has the ability to imagine. Everyone has the ability to define. Everyone is feeling the frequency of their temporarily home base in this moment. You're either at number 22, you're in utter despair, in jealousy, in rage, in anger, and revenge. I'll tell you all of them on the scale. I've made it just for guidance. There's obviously other little in-betweens, but just to give you some guidance. You're temporarily in this area that's vibrating at what we call lack. It's missing. And every single time, everyone has a desire, and that is the wave of desire that just turns your focus. Now, the point I would like to make today is that, let me put it in a metaphor. You have a computer, everyone does. You have a computer, and with the computer comes certain applications. You can play some games, you can write some documents, you can all sorts of documents. But when the computer is connected to the internet, oh my God, we have complete access to every single piece of information around this globe. We're able to communicate with any human being around the globe like we're doing right now. The computer has now unlimited access. Without the internet, the computer is pretty much useless. Well, you can read a book, you can write a note, and you can play a game. With the internet connected, you have the opportunity of being stuck to it all day if you wish. You have endless and endless, infinite sources of information, different opinions, colors, and all sorts. Same thing. When you believe to be the mind, now we've just talked about it. If you believe to be the mind only has access to that vibrational frequency that you have at the moment. It can only define the equivalent to how you're feeling. It can only see to the equivalent to how you're feeling, and your actions are limited to how you're feeling. You only have access to this area. Not enjoy. No, you're vibrating this. You're limited. You're not connected to the internet, meaning you're not connected to who you really are. Who you really are, point of reference. That knowing, awareness, knowing that you're in despair right now. Communicating with you, offering you the wave to turn the other cheek. Sounds familiar? Turn the other cheek. You are now living here. You don't like it? What is that desire? Now, just the turning of the cheek gives you the intention. I don't see drone, it's missing. I want to see drone. Where is it? And you shall see. You shall rendezvous with it. You will be able to define it. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to feel the presence of it. Now, this is a key word. You feel the presence of the drone because you can now see it in your mind's eye. You've defined you want to see it. You can now feel the presence of it. Funny enough that people, when they think of money, they don't feel the presence of money. They feel the absence of it. So sometimes, you see, it's like I think of money, but that triggering of money here actually makes them remind them that they don't have it. Instead, it's the inclusion. That's what the desire is asking you to do. Your desire is asking you to feel the feeling of the inclusion of it. Inclusion. Not by physically having, because even if you physically have it and you're still vibrating that feeling, I've seen that. Have this chunk of money, this ton of money, this truck of money, and this app, and there's the feeling is then, how do I protect it? How do I save it? I don't want anyone to take it away from me, because you're still feeling the lack of it. In here, in the body, you're vibrating, you're receiving it while you're still in lack. That's why everyone that wins the lottery, 99.9, apart from that one person that managed, will eventually be distraught in it, because unless they move and start to feel the abundance and the inclusion of it, it's not going to be a vibrational match with it. So my point of today is the mind is a tool. It gives you access to hear and see what is available on this platform, on this vibrational platform you are currently in. You can give it a name. It's called lack. This is missing. Have you noticed that when one is temporarily in the vibrational platform of anger, they all say the same thing? They all act the same way. Angry, 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 angry. And when they're on the platform of blame, they all say the same thing. They all see the same thing. They all are describing the same scenario because that's what they have access to. And they're all feeling the equivalent of it. And the more you feel it, the more you think it, the more you think it, the more you feel it. And that's what the mechanism looks like. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Nothing is wrong. It's giving you the experience of what it feels like to be on that platform of blame, on be on that platform of revenge, on be on that platform of it's not here, it's missing. Everything's working out perfectly. And even when you're feeling like you see puppy and like all of a sudden, oh, I'm on this vibration of how cute that puppy is, you've just moved. You moved vibrationally. That's why puppies are so cute. You've moved vibrationally, and now you temporarily have access to other thoughts, but where was I? Oh, I was blaming you. It's all your fault. Platforms, that's how I see it in my mind's eye. I'm rendezvousing on this platform. I have access only to these thoughts and to these feelings, and obviously my body will now act out that. That's why people in despair will procrastinate. That is the only action available. Why bother? Why should I even do that? It won't work out. Okay? Procrastination is the action that happens when you're over here. Shouting and hitting and abusing happens when you're in anger. That is the action that normally happens, because that is the action that is required to emphasize the thoughts and the visions and the imagery and the feeling, and then it just self-fulfilling itself. You'll come to a point and say, I am so tired of feeling these feelings. Yes, because you were not designed to live there. It is a temporary experience. It's a temporary human experience to experience more and more and more. So the longer you've lived there, it's like an elastic. I was having a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, and you must have heard this analogy. I can't remember who else. It's like pulling this elastic back. If you're a little bit hungry, you'll eat a little bit of food. If you're really hungry, you're going to eat a lot of food because you're really going to have that. So to the degree that you're having the out in the woods walk, your desire, that wave, will be to the same degree on the other side. So if you want a little bit of money, your desires are I want a little bit more money. If I'm missing a bit of love, your desire will be to you know what I mean? There's like the equivalent of this wave. How far back do you want to separate yourself from yourself will be to the degree that your desire will say, well, I want that. So I took myself to utter despair. I won't tell you to all the details, but 7-8 years ago, I was in utter despair. Like big time despair. Okay. So it's like I took myself way, way, way in the woods, like really, really way, way in the woods. So just a little bit of clarity was not going to satisfy me at all. I came to the point that I said, none of this makes sense. My only priority is seeing clearly, and everything else on hold, family included, friends included, everyone. This is it. Sold everything, off we went. Digital nomads for 6 years. And the analogy of the internet is exactly that. I remember living in Langkawi, and the internet was awful. Sometimes we would connect, some we wouldn't connect. And at some point I said, that's it. I'm just done with it because this hiccuping. And I said, that's it. I'm going to live without internet for 5 months. What are you going to do? The mind said, I'm just going to sit and look at you, the mind. And this was I can't remember how long ago. And I said, this is a perfect opportunity. I have no internet. My computer is useless. I'm in the midst of a rainforest. There's nothing else to do but sit and observe. And hold and behold, Nazara began her 99 days. Coincidence? I don't think so. And that's what I did for a month. For 99 days, Marie and I just sat and watched the mind. Hours. And enjoyed the rainforest, of course, and our little wooden hut. You get to a point that any kind of emotional pain it was just intolerable. I mean, even just doubt was like a stabbing knife. Couldn't tolerate any form. All I wanted was to be one with who I wanted to reach home, the reference point. That's all I desired. I wasn't going to settle for anything less. Not even what comes before that. I wasn't even happy with optimism. I wasn't even happy with enthusiasm. I wanted it all: empowerment, freedom, love. So, number 2 is passion. Number 3, enthusiasm, eagerness, and happiness. Number 4, positive expectation. Number 5, optimism. What number is desire on the list? Why would you ask that? No, desire is nowhere on the list. Desire is part of your tools, darling. That's the wave that comes it. So let's recap. You've got access to focus. You can focus. You can focus. Try it. Imagination. You're all brilliant imagineering. You have this, when you are living the contrast, a desire comes with it. It's an incorporated feature. You know what you don't want. You know what you do want. Here comes the desire. Are you aware of it? Turn the other cheek. The desire is not an emotion. Desire is your lift to the direction that you want, because you didn't know you wanted more clarity until you got stuck in the woods. That's what becoming aware of awareness. You're becoming aware of who you really are, a bit by bit by bit. That's what our life experience in 3D time and space reality is all about. To become aware of how incredibly magnificent you already are. Without desire, you wouldn't look there. You wouldn't be inspired to look there. That's what the desire is for. It's your link out. It's your wave to, I'm not really liking it here. Okay, then grab a lift, grab an Uber. Where's my Uber? It's called desire. The desire is your invitation. It's not an emotion. It's an invitation. Hello, you've experienced this meal. Would you prefer this? And as you're feeling lack, what's the desire? Abundance. But let's get specific. The more specific you get, the better it is. Abundance. What is it now? You've got to go and look for the feeling of abundance. I had to imagine the drone before I could see it. It's so cute. It's red. It's really cute. And it's got these little 4 arms that comes out. And I really think it's cute because it looks like it's got 2 eyes because it's got these sensors. I literally had to go in. But what we don't know is that, what does abundance feel like? Hello, we have imagination. Be creative. Use your definitions. Use your imaginary system. Feel for it. Just take a moment and feel. You've got to get beyond yourself, over yourself, in order to allow that. And Joe Dispenza puts it like this: plan tomorrow today, in the sense he sits in a chair, and this is what Einstein used to do, and this is what I do as well. Marie does it as well. At the end of the day, after we've lived our life that day, we did bump into contrast. Everyone will, because that is your juicy juices. You know, you've got to get the juices. You've lived life and then you've come to the conclusion, you know what? I would like this. I would like to live this experience next time. This was fine, but this is what I would like. And in the sense that we chew on it, what would that look like? What would that feel like? And you sort of rendezvous within you. You create it. It's like creating with clay. No, not really. It's you're creating it in your mind. You're creating it in your being. You're becoming one with it. It has to exist within you first. And you have access to all of that, all of the tools that you need in order to feel the inclusion of what you perceive as currently missing. Focus, intention, the desire. You've taken the desire. You've taken the lift. It's the intention. I now would like to feel the incorporation of what I've just lived as lack. What does it feel like? And yesterday I gave you a definition of abundance. What would it feel like and look like? Be one with, I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Is a definition of abundance. And as you do this practice more and more, what you start to trust, you can do it all by yourself. Freedom! I can do it all by myself. Freedom! It's this game that we've been trained to do. Get the thing and then you will feel it. It is a misconception. You are not the mind. The mind is a tool that creates imagery. The mind is the tool that creates descriptions, labels, definitions, and will describe your current vibrational pool platform. It will do it for you. The mind will define and give you imagery of where you currently are vibrationally. And it will keep speaking and give you visuals to tell you where you are until you have the focused attention to say, aha, I get where I am. I don't want to be here. What do you want? And the wave of desire will flow through you and you'll say, I'm done here. I am done here. Or maybe, do you want to go further in the woods? Hell yeah, I went there. You want to get your hands in the clay that deep? Okay. Will you take yourself down there? What was your intention? What is your intention? We'll do that maybe next week as well, where I'm getting way beyond myself. But this is what I really wanted to convey to you in this episode, is that we have all the tools we actually need. And that is all you need to know. You don't need a bank account. You don't need money. That will come. That will be a reflection once you feel that. You feel it. You have to incorporate it inside of you. You've got to basically reach for the platform. Let me see the name. Optimism, positive expectation. Number 4. Number 5, optimism. Number 6, hopefulness. Reach for that. Positive expectation. I just recently had to get a bank account. Trust me. The mind says it's impossible. You weren't born here. You didn't grow up here. When you live in different countries, the world's not set up for you. Living as a digital nomad, the world is not set up for you. But you incorporate that feeling. You're basically the wanderer, and you have free will, free access to all the different frequencies, platforms. You can travel wherever you want. You can go from your point of reference and reach out as far as you want unto utter despair, where here you feel all one and whole with who you are, and you can go all the way down to I am nobody, I am useless. And if it felt like, and the access that you have there, the mind will give you more reason to feel that very thing. I don't have enough. And that's all it can say. And wherever it's looking, it sees not enough. I don't have enough. And that is the spiel it says. And that is the feeling, because it has to carry on reproducing the same feeling to get the momentum going, to create the experience and keep creating it and keep creating it, keep creating it. Now, the version of me in utter despair and lack still exists. It's just I'm not there to tell it to you. I'm over here, being in the flow with who I really am, as close as I can. Did I have to change my mind? No. The mind changed by itself because I just moved vibrationally. I moved up the emotional scale, and now my mind is capturing the essence of here. I didn't have to change my mind. And that's the pain. When you're trying to change a mind that's rooted in lack, to make it think positive and abundant thoughts, you can't do that. It's like asking the toaster to boil the water. The mind will only be able to explain and define and describe and categorize to the degree of the vibration. You cannot change the mind of any vibration. You move first. There's no changing of the mind. You don't change the mind. You move. It changes itself. It changes its tune. It changes the music. It literally is like a radio. You get the sense. See clearly. We're all fighting battles that are, you're setting up yourself for failure, because it just cannot be done. You know, all the misconceptions, these lies. Go out and work yourself silly and get all the money and then you'll feel abundant. That's bullshit. It's crap. I'm sorry if any children are watching. It's crap, utter crap. That is not the solution. But you cannot believe to be the mind. You are not the mind. Investigate. Who is the knowing? Who knows? Who knows? Becoming aware of awareness. You're not the mind. The mind is simply a tool that will define and describe your current situation where you are right now. That's all it does. The attempt of trying to change your mind is futile. It is a loudspeaker describing to you the perspective that you have just stumbled upon. And that's why we stopped watching the news. Because if I sat in front of the news just for maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, even less, that sort of like hypnotizes you. Like, oh my God, look how much lack, look how much awfulness is in the world. Now, just looking at that, just like I completely unconscious, I forgot who I am and I ran off with that information and, oh, I'm back in the woods. And now I'm there and now all I'm seeing like, oh, this is a terrible world. And yes, it does happen. Of course, every bloody day I go off in the woods and my perspective is like, oh my goodness, it's hopeless, useless. And then the action is, oh, I gotta let everyone know. And we're on social media. And now your best friend is reminding you of the lack she's feeling. And if you're there, now you're resenting it because now it's reminding you of your feeling of lack. And now you're discussing lack and you're both feeling awful. And now you say, oh, I'm going to tell somebody else. And they have a feeling of lack. And now you've reminded them. And now everyone's feeling awful. Now you want to feel better. And what comes up after that? Anger. So now you got 3 angry people. Instead, I sit. I don't go on social media. I don't call my best friend. I sit and I move. The first thing I do is I feel gratitude for the feeling of lack, and I feel it, just like I was telling you yesterday. I feel it. I invite it. Because everything is happening for you, for you, for you, for you to have an experience. You are not the mind, you are not the character that is currently living out that experience. You are temporarily having a now experience in that, on that platform that vibrates that signal. So now you have access of the description, of the imagery, of that, so you can really have the experience. At some point you will feel the desire, and now when that wave comes of desire, it might stay there for about 2 or 3 seconds or whatever, but you get a whiff of it. Write it down. What's your desire? So you get a notebook and you just write desire. You write it down. And in the path, like in the moment of least resistance, that you're really not, just describe it a little bit more. And then the whiff of lack will come back in. That's fine. That's fine. You do what I was telling you yesterday on day 2. You sit and you feel it, and the resistance lessens down. And the moment that the resistance lessens down, you carry on. You define it a bit more specifically, that desire. You get a little bit more specific. And then the whiff of lack will come back and grab you. And you realize it, you notice it, and you feel it. You let the resistance go down, and then you have a moment of the desire is more accessible to you. The desire is more accessible to you. You define it a little bit more. You close your eyes. You feel for it. You feel the inclusion of that which first you were perceiving as a lack. But allow yourself to get those windows. Don't force yourself. Don't be hurtful to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Just realize when you have free access to wander in your mind, you have free access. It feels easy. It feels easy. Oh, I'm not gripped by that lack. Let me get my notebook. That's a priority. That's a priority. Leave whatever you're doing. Don't bother with the laundry. Don't bother with the appointment. Cancel it. You've got a free moment. It feels easy right now. That means you're slightly moving. You've taken the desire, and it's going to feel a bit general, and then it feels more specific. You're not going to get it just like that because you want the experience. But now you're coming back home. Oh, it's getting, and all of a sudden now you've moved. You've moved after anger. You were disencouraged and you blamed. So number 16 was disencouragement. Number 15 was blame. So you've blamed. Then you went into worry, number 14. You worried a bit for a few days, for a few weeks, for a couple of months. You were in worry. Then you were in doubt, number 13. Number 12, disappointment. So that's what I use the emotional scale for. I could feel like, can I reach, like when you're in anger, you know what? I'm going to just skip these 2. I can get to blame. Easy. I know what blame, I can do that. You just stay there for a while. And I taught myself how to do this, and it didn't take long. Because I understood that my mind is not me. I am not my mind. I am not the character the mind is currently temporarily playing out. Have you ever watched yourself, or has anyone ever taken a video of you when you're angry? Like you're some crazy person. It's like, and you say the most awkward things that you've never heard yourself say under any other conditions because you're not always angry. Because the mind can only define and see things in that particular way when you are in anger. That's why you say the most awkward things, because only awkward things are designed for that particular frequency. And that's why when you're feeling better and it's all calmed down, then you like sort of look back and say, that wasn't me. And it's true, it wasn't. You were playing out the character that is adaptable to that frequency. When I have arguments with Mary, you don't love me anymore. Like, oh, the things that we hear ourselves say. And it literally lasts about maybe 10 to 15 minutes now, because it's just like, you just gotta like allow it to be felt. Allow yourself to feel the anger. Say it, see it, feel it, take the wave. You have these tools. Become aware of them. Please download my book, The Amazing Abilities You Have, if you would like more clarity. When you type in your email, it comes directly to me. I will personally send it to you. I don't have automation just as yet. So be patient. I will send them to you. The Amazing Abilities You Have, it highlights the focus, your ability to focus, your ability to desire, your ability to define imagery, to feel. All of this is some guidelines. It's a very short book, but it's really, really powerful. And the second one is I am imagining myself into being. That's exactly what you're doing. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I did wobble off a bit longer than what I usually do, but thanks. Did anyone else have a question? I can't all see your, what's the news? All right, darlings, I shall see you tomorrow. And I hope you got the message today. You are not the mind. Investigate, contemplate. Love you so much.